Welcome to episode 263 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Greetings and salutations.
I don't know. I just got a weird Mars Attacks vibe. I don't think they even say that anywhere in that movie.
Probably not, but I can see how you would get that. How it gives off that aura of destruction.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Mars Attacks. I haven't thought about Mars Attacks. It just came a rush all of a sudden.
Greetings and salutations.
However they sound.
We will destroy you.
Yeah, I gotta. What a good movie.
It was a good
bad movie.
It's a good bad. There's a lot of good bad movies. I don't even want to get started on them.
What a good.
We'll be here for 8 hours. Well, it's be an 8-hour podcast.
Do you think there's a Mars Attacks podcast?
No.
Mars Attacks?
No, probably not.
That movie's got a following.
It does have a following. There's a lot of movies that have following, but you can't. There's no sustainability on just talking about one movie. If it was a TV show, it'd be different because you have different episodes that come out.
Maybe they talk about how they want it to be a TV show and what they'd like to see happen if it was a TV show.
Well, that's called fan fiction.
I love a good fanfic. A little erotica tossed in there.
Uh-huh.
That's what always happens with fanfic. It starts out so harmless.
Yep, and then it always turns into Skinamax porn.
Yeah, I tell you, it crosses the line.
Always.
Now, you ever written any fanfic?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I've not. It's not my thing. Fanfic is not my thing.
Do you read fanfic?
I do not read fanfic, no.
So
I have out of being curious about what it is.
Right.
But I'm not like, ooh, I got to know what happens next in this steamy novel.
Yeah, I've read a couple of things that I was interested in. I've read, and I was like, wow, this is out of fucking control.
Yeah, what is happening? There's fanfic for everything.
Yeah, but it's all like weird softcore porn.
Yeah.
Or some of it's hardcore. People like romance.
People do like romance. That's the thing about the 50. It's funny. That's how the 50 Shades thing is. But if everybody gets something, or not everybody, but like different personality styles get different things out of it. Because I have friends that are women, obviously, because that's how the world works. And like my wife gets one thing out of it. One friend gets another thing out of it, and another friend, like, another thing about it interests her. So it's just that kind of stuff it plays to the masses. And when done right, it plays to the masses.
Now, do you think it's really everyone's getting something different, or is it no one wants to tell the truth about what they're getting out of it?
No, I can give you examples. This is using just the 50 Shades because this is all I have the reference for that I've spoken to people on. And like one person just likes the passion between the two characters.
Right.
One likes the weird sex, kinky
right.
BDSM sex. One likes the fact that he's rich. So everybody gets something out of it. It's something else is drawing them to it.
Yeah, what I was wondering is if everybody likes the dirty, nasty sex and just didn't want to say.
I don't think
because those books especially. I would say that would be the main draw.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, to be fair, my wife wanted me to read them, so I read them. And let me tell you something. Those appear to severely downplay the BDSM scene.
Right.
If that's what you're going in expecting, you're probably going to be thoroughly disappointed.
I've heard another one of my friends who is actually a guy read them. And what he came out telling me is that the level of sex that happens in those books is not sustainable in real life.
True.
Like he said, the way and the manner that they have sex is not sustainable.
I agree with your friend there 100%.
So he felt like they were setting unrealistic expectations.
That's what they do.
He's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do any of that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the good thing is the guy's like a gazillionaire, So we can start right there with the disappointment.
Right.
It's all. I can't follow through with any of the rest of it because I can't start at that point. So
there's 100% 50 Shades of Grey podcast. 100%.
Oh, no doubt. 50 Shades of Grey started out as Twilight fanfic.
Fanfic. We're back to it. They say that's called full circle, folks. We take you on a trip and then we drop you off where we picked you up.
Boom shakalaka. Here's how we roll.
Mm-hmm. This is the official Gamestitch Podcast. Every week we get together, we talk about all the nerdy gaming things that we love. We sprinkle it in some bullshit. We set it all on fire, and then we serve it up for your ear holes.
Boom.
If you want to support this podcast, head over to patreon.com/Gamestitch. You can toss us a couple bones on there. If not, that's cool too, because this son of a bitch will always be free.
It's true.
Every Monday, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time on podcast services around the globe.
Boom.
Globetrotters.
Can I just share, before we get started, can I just share a horrifying experience I had this week?
Yeah, we'll roll this right into what we played, so I'm going to find a good segue.
Okay. I don't know, this might be tough.
No, I got it. It's fine.
This is something that never occurred to me could happen. You know when your toothpaste, like, starts to get old and it doesn't, like, stick quite as well to your toothbrush? So I was going to brush my teeth the other day. Unfortunately, I was the only one at home. Or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. So I put the little dab of toothpaste on my toothbrush. And I go to brush my teeth. And it's that old toothpaste. So, I guess, just perfect, just happenstance, the way it happened. Apparently, as I was going to brush my teeth, I took a big breath in. And that glob of toothpaste came right off my toothbrush and went straight into my throat. I did not know it was possible to choke on toothpaste.
Did you choke on toothpaste or the idea that you just sucked something in?
No, I was seriously.
You didn't just panic? Yeah, see, I think you panicked more than you were choking.
No, it was stuck there, but it wasn't like all the way stuck there, right? So
you had a lot of toothpaste on there. Are you a heavy paster?
But there was enough for some, air to get through. But the problem is now it's starting to get wet from saliva, and what happens then? It starts to get all sticky and gooey. So it's stuck in my throat, getting sticky and gooey, sticking to the sides, and I'm sitting here choking on toothpaste, going, gah, gah. But of course, then it's spearmint. It's got that real, and that real heavy spearmint, when you breathe in, it makes you cough.
Yeah, so you went ahead and got that out.
I got this going on while I'm trying to breathe. So I'm trying to cough and breathe at the same time, and every time I try to breathe in, all I can do is cough because of that spearmint thing, so I'm never actually getting a breath in.
Did you cough it up?
No, I ended up choking it, using just water to try to get it down and doing the whole thing. And believe it or not, yes, it finally went down, and then I promptly threw up.
Right. Did you see it when you threw up?
It was what I ate that was also a creamy white.
Probably some of the better smelling throw up.
But let me tell you something. It was terrifying. It was a terrifying thing that happened. I was not expecting it. I guess I've never thought through what happens if a glob of toothpaste gets stuck in your throat. Because I mean,
it's a weird thing to choke on.
That's
right.
ever going to happen. But that's what that spear, like all of that breathing with that spearmint, my stomach was just like, yeah, game over, bro.
Right. I have a choking story that I may have told before on this podcast. I was a kid. I'm going to say early middle school. I used to have a friend around the corner that I played with all the time. He had those wrestling buddies. Remember those?
Yeah, I do.
They're like pillows, but they were shaped like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and stuff. And he had a trampoline, so we would get on there and we'd whoop their ass on the trampoline. He would. I never watched wrestling, so I was just grinding on mine. I didn't know what I was. I don't know any moves or anything.
You were doing what?
Just grinding on it, jumping on it.
That's not grinding.
I mean, there was some grinding when you're pinning it down.
You had me pictured doing something different.
Yeah, that's right. And
That's gross.
We would put
I can't make it go away.
We put the stereo out there. We put the big ass. You know, they had the speakers that you could like set to the side a little bit.
Oh yeah, but they still stayed plugged in.
Yeah,
you, like
still
slid
plugged
them up
in.
and over.
Yeah,
they
would only go out like 12 inches from the unit
on the boom box.
Yeah, so we'd put that out there, and we'd get the antenna up just right, and we'd get the radio playing out there. We get the wrestling buddies and the trampoline going. We decided we needed some entrances. We need some ring entrances.
Fair. That's fair.
As children decide to do. And then my buddy was like, I got the styrofoam bits I'm going to throw.
Ooh.
You know, he took styrofoam, and when you fuck up styrofoam, it gives you the little balls.
Yep, I feel like I know where this is going.
He's like, when I walk out, I'm going to throw them up. So it'll be like it's snowing on me. I'm like, that's badass. I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to spray it out of my mouth like a fountain. So I take a handful of styrofoam in there, and I get it all pretty tiny, I think, and so waiting for a good jam to come on. I'm just holding this wet styrofoam in my mouth, waiting for a song that I feel is entrance music worthy, yeah. And something comes on, I'm like, now it's my time. So as soon as it comes on, I'm like, all right. And when I say that to myself, I suck in.
Uh-huh.
And I suck what is too large of a piece of styrofoam to do what I was going to intend to do anyways, right into my throat. Uh-huh. And it's totally stuck. And I went, see, I don't know. It wasn't big enough, I don't think, to kill me, but I went full panic mode.
Gotcha.
Which makes it big enough to kill me.
Right.
And I thought I was going to die right there in the backyard with like NSYNC playing or something.
How did it not? NSYNC is not good entrance music, by the way.
I don't know what it was. I was just saying it was Bye 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 or something.
Yeah, but
we're grinding on Macho Man with Bye 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 playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kept coughing.
That's called fanfic, by the way.
I kept coughing and just panicking. I would get it out a little bit and then suck it right back down.
I
was getting just enough air through to, and he didn't know what to do. He's like, who do I call? What do I do? And finally I just coughed it up, and then my face was like covered in like tears.
Along with those styrofoam bits.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I went straight home. Felt lucky to be alive.
I could see how you wouldn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I was like, let's call it a day on this one.
I could see how. Yep.
Yeah. So that was the only time.
I hear my mom calling.
That was the only time I've ever felt like I'm just gonna choke. Like I've never had another instance where I was like, I might choke right now. And that didn't lead that way. It was just 0 to 100. It's like fine choking,
right?
Which I feel like is how most chokings happen.
Yeah. Nobody ever eases
like,
into it.
I might choke, right? But it went. It was bad. It was not cool because styrofoam has no weight to it.
It has no weight to it, and
so it wasn't bringing it down on its own.
And very few things destroy it, which is why it's considered bad for the world.
That's why you should never put it in your mouth, too, kids.
Right, don't put it in your mouth.
I was missing some key parenting when it came to don't put styrofoam in your mouth. No one had mentioned that to me.
I'm sure they had, and
I would
just
remember
ignored that. I don't think you would have. Not when it comes to...
It would have been a good entrance had it worked, because I was going to... Uh-huh. Really, so what would have happened is it probably would have came out as a big, like, wet glob.
Right.
And then I would have rolled on the trampoline. And
it's just big, gross, white Hadouken.
Yeah. That's probably what would have happened.
Probably.
Speaking of choking.
Yeah.
We decided to do a stream for all of you lovely folks out there. We talked about it on the podcast like a few episodes ago. Paladins getting a battle royale mode called Battle Royale or something like that. Battlegrounds. We're like, man, we should play Paladins Battle Royale and stream it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I tried. Yeah, we tried to coordinate it. Last week I downloaded Paragon, which we'll get to in a bit. I got the right game. We got on. We're ready to play. We synced our times up. Get on. We're like, how do you find the Battle Royale mode? After a dance with Google, we realized that's not even fucking out yet.
That's why it's very important to pay attention to things, because it turns out that when we discussed it on the podcast, we even skipped over pertinent information.
Yeah, and that it's coming out sometime in 2018.
Yeah, and it's still... Yeah, so basically there's still 11 months left to where it can come out.
So we're loaded up. We got Paladins ready to play. And no Battle Royale mode. So then we were faced with a decision. Do we play Paladins and we stream it out anyways? Or do we just play Rocket League and not worry about it?
And we said, you know what? We know this isn't exactly what we thought it was going to be, exactly what we thought we were getting into, but it is something different for our loyal listeners and viewers to see and watch and hear. So, why don't we stream out Paladins? If it doesn't work, if it ends up it's not a good game, that's fine. We've already got like a 7-minute stream that we've done. So that's going to be tough to beat. I feel like a match is going to go at least 7 minutes. So we'll give it a shot.
We jump in a test match just to make sure that we could even play together. Right. Some games are Gang Beast. And we jump in and it works and it's fun.
It's fun.
So then we decide to kick off the stream, and that's on youtube.com/Gamestitch. You can see us playing that and actually having a lot of fun with it. For those not familiar with Paladins, it's a hero shooter. It's very much a free-to-play Overwatch feel to it.
Mm-hmm. It definitely has a very Overwatch feel to it.
But it's fun.
It is fun.
It is rotten with free-to-play. I don't want to call them paywalls. It's just rotten with microtransactions. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they consistently follow the free-to-play model. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm. But I don't believe that you have to spend any money.
To have fun with it? No.
Because I've played it a few times, and probably approaching that 6-hour mark.
Yeah.
Whew. Hold on, this yawn got away from me.
Are you bored or what?
No, I set up too late playing Paladins, actually.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm probably at that 6-hour mark, and I've not felt the need to spend any money.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that you and I started out by buying every crate that we could. That would be a misstep, because you can spend those coins on champions. And I didn't realize that in the beginning, so I probably spent a cool $7,500 on crates that I could have used for champions.
What do you buy champions?
You click on the champions tab, and then you click on the actual one you want, and then it shows you. Because the game's got like 16 different currencies.
It shows you how much they cost. It does have a ton of currencies.
It shows you like how much they cost in each currency.
Okay.
So one of those is the in-game coin. So I'm like, well, damn, I wish I would have maybe held on to those a little better. The game also has the Founders Pack where you get like everything.
Yeah. It's relatively, what is it, $15? $20?
20. I think it's 20, yeah, $19.99. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play that game enough for that, but I do want to say to everyone who's listening, Paladins is okay.
It is okay. It is a fun time if you have friends.
Yeah, it is worth playing for free, especially if you have people to play with. And I'll even go a step further. I think it's okay to have on your hard drive. Like, it's okay to download Paladins and not delete it in case someone wants to play at any point.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was a good time. Played some Rocket League. Marshall 205 and I played some more Lego Worlds, which we jumped into.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little more Kerbal. And then as far as new stuff goes, I played The Inpatient. The prequel, the PSVR follow-up, the prequel to Until Dawn.
Now that is PSVR only, correct?
I believe that to be the case. I don't see how you play it not in PSVR. I think it's required.
Yeah.
I'm not positive on that because you can play it with a controller. I can tell you the game would not be effective out of VR.
Okay.
So it's super massive, and it's $40. Came out Tuesday, 20. Yep. Whatever that was, 23rd.
Well, yeah, sure.
And I knew it was going to be scary. I'm not a big scary games guy. We've talked about it before. Extra not a scary in VR kind of guy, because that amps up the scary.
Because a little more real.
Yeah, so I jump in, and I really don't know what to expect. I know you're playing in the, Black Hills Sanitarium.
Mm-hmm.
If you played Until Dawn, you know what that place is. But you're playing in it 50 years before.
When it was still up and running.
Right. So when you jump in, if you played Until Dawn, you have an idea of where this ends. Like, you have an idea of what's about to happen here.
Right.
But you don't know how it's going to get there. You play a patient who is in the sanitarium who does not know who he is or why he's there. He has amnesia. And you're heavily medicated. So you're in and out. And you wake up and some shit happens, and you go back to sleep and some shit happens. And so it's giving me like a super creepy vibe. Like, just something about it. You're like, this is just like uncomfortable already. Which is how you should feel in a place like that.
Right.
And like, almost the fact that nothing is happening is like almost more scary than something happening.
Because that's an anticipation that something's going to happen.
Because I've decided, because Until Dawn loves jump scares. They're everywhere. Yep. So I'm like, this game is going to have them everywhere. And it still might. But I do want to say to its credit, and I'm not really going to talk about what happens because...
spoilers?
It would be impossible not to spoil these moments if I talked about them. But they do a really good job of not taking the easy way out when it comes to being creepy. Like, they don't just... It's not just jump scares. I will say the first jump scare of the game almost made me shit my pants. Not because it was scary, but because I had almost talked myself out of it happening because they hadn't happened.
Gotcha.
And then it was, it happened, and I was like, you motherfucker. And there's a scene that happens that I guarantee you, if you're playing on your couch out of VR and it happens, you're like, oh, shit. But when it's happening 12 inches in front of your face, you're like, motherfucker, this is not okay. I need to get out of here. And you can't. Like, you're in that world, and there are people who would probably rip the headset off. Because it is not okay to happen in front of you. It's just a different vibe when when you're there and it's happening.
Right, I understand that. Which is what VR should do, technically.
Yeah. So this game's getting pretty good ratings everywhere. Seeing 8s and 9s. I want to talk about a couple of the bad things, and then tell you that you should absolutely buy this if you have VR. The controls are not great. They don't have it figured out.
Okay.
I'm playing. You can play with the DualShock, which will pull you out of the experience. I know because that's how I originally started. You can play with the 2 Move controllers, which is how you should play, but it's not. They don't have the movement great. One controller basically, you point and you push, and it barely rotates you. But when you do that, you don't really control. You have to click it each time to keep moving more and more and more.
Okay.
You can point it all the way behind your shoulder to turn totally around. So that's one of the terrifying elements, though, because every time I turn all the way around, I just assume someone's going to be right in my face, which has not happened. But that's the thought I keep having because I don't control it the way I want to.
Right.
The other controller makes you walk forward. You cannot walk backwards.
Oh. So
you hold a button to walk forward, they walk at a slow pace, and you rotate all the way back around and then walk in that direction. So there's no reverse button, which sometimes you want when shit's up in your face.
Sometimes.
I don't want to turn all the way around and miss what's going on. So instead, I just stand too close to the action. So that's problem number one. The controls are not great. It doesn't matter when you're playing, though. The second thing is that the game is not that big, but it's got a fucking 10 gig update. 10
Whoa.
gigs. You heard me right. 10 gigs. So that's insane.
Yeah, that's...
And I say the game's not big. I don't have any idea how big the game is because I was so distracted by the fact that the update was 10 gigs that I never even paid attention to how big the game itself was. Because once I got it in, because I thought I could probably play and beat it yesterday. I've heard it's a 3-hour game. And I did not have that luxury because it took forever to download a 10 gig patch even on fast internet.
Right.
So for you folks out there in rural Montana, like, this might not be for you.
Jump scares or no. Controls or no.
Or people with data caps. Like, this might not be for you, because that's a fucking big update.
In Montana? Why are you picking on Montana?
Fuck Montana. I don't have any,
I think I'd like to visit Montana.
I don't have any beef against Montana.
I think Montana and Wyoming I'd like to see.
Montana seems easy to pick on when we're talking high-speed internet, though.
When you're talking rural?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking gigabit speeds. I feel safe to talk about Montana.
Montana feels like it's still like when you think Montana in your head, do you still picture like buffalo roaming and cowboys?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Wyoming, too. It's the only thing I think about are ranchers. Doing it the old way.
Headed down to the Rio Grande.
Yeah, not relying on this new technology. They do it like their grandfather and their grandfather's grandfather.
Lassos.
Tight pants and hats. That's what I think when I think of Montana.
Tight?
Yeah, you don't want baggy fucking jeans. You can't be out there herding cattle with some Jinkos on.
Well, they're probably not wearing Jinkos, I'll give you that.
And no one's wearing Jinkos.
I think that's really not what I had in mind when you said baggy, because Jinkos were always stupid in my head. I miss that. I was older than the Jinko fad.
Oh, that sucks, because it was good.
Now, my thing was, let's see. I guess my thing was probably the merry-go-round, the Benetton.
I don't know what any of that is.
I know you don't. Zikevarici.
The Jinko was so dumb that even if you weren't into it, it affected you.
Right.
Because they look shitty on people that you saw.
Right, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I've talked about it before on this podcast, but I have a friend that had a pair of Jinkos that just made me so jealous. They were so good.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that the Jinkos did. Jinkos completely reversed a complete and other thing that everyone is taught. We're always taught, don't judge a book by its cover. But you see somebody in Jinkos, you're like, look at this douche.
Yeah. Except for everyone had them on.
And you don't feel...
Of a certain age.
And you don't feel bad about it. You don't like, oh, it's wrong, I shouldn't judge a book. You're like, no, he's a douche because he made that decision. That's proof that he's a douche.
So the Jinkos came in hard, and I remember everybody being like, everyone had to have them. Even kids that didn't necessarily follow trends had Jinkos on. And the size of your popularity was based off of how big the bottom of your Jinkos were.
Big the bottom of your Jinkos were?
Yeah, and the friend that I had, he had the zip-up ones, so you could make them regular, but then you zipped them out, and it was a different fucking fabric underneath there. Like it was some crazy-ass pattern under there, and I was like, those are fucking amazing.
So you were part of the Jinko fad?
So I didn't have any of those, though. I had some Jinkos, but mine were just like, they flared out. Nothing crazy. Like, some people had some, like, when they walked, you could hear the, like, flopping, where the denim was kicking back and forth.
Yeah.
I didn't have any
on
like
the floor.
Yeah, I wanted some rad ones like that, but I didn't have any. And then after that, the sagging came in really hard for my age. I did not partake in that one.
You did not. That was not a trend you capitalized on.
No, it's not what I want. It wasn't a good look on me. So I did not. I was not a part of that. But that's the two phases that hit really hard as far as clothing go were. The Jinkos and the sagging. Now, I will say, as I got in high school, like stuff like Sperry's and Birkenstocks got popular, but not to the degree of sagging and Jinkos,
right?
Because everyone was doing those.
See, the big ones when I was growing up, the big fads I got caught up in were the Tony Hawk hairstyle, and you're talking mid to late '80s here. So you're talking right after skating was just getting big. Tony Hawk was just getting big. He was, I think he had been in Gleaming the Cube at that point, which was a movie. Let's see, the tight roll jeans. What else? Paisley shirts. And
I still like it. I like a good Paisley shirt now.
And I caught the tail end of the skinny tie.
I like a skinny tie too.
So those were the big trends when I was growing up. Oh, and the Don Johnson look too, the Miami Vice look.
You just hit about 2 buttons on the way up. Put a suit coat on over that thing.
Yeah.
No tie because you're fucking casual.
No, you just put on a short sleeve Henley and a
like a salmon colored one.
And a lightweight jacket. I even had a white one, just like he did.
What a douchebag. Because when you do that, it's clear what you're emulating.
That's fine.
No one's confused about the look that you're trying to pull off.
Nope.
What a bad look, man. Those things come and go, but there's been some rough ones.
There has. I'll take the Don Johnson Miami Vice look over Jinkos any day.
Jinkos are not a good look. You think that company still exists?
They can't.
They had to pivot, obviously. They wouldn't have to be able to keep doing what they were doing.
No, they would have had to readjust their business plan if they are still around.
Like, hey, now we do bottled water.
Right.
Froyo. Now you can get that Jinko Froyo. Because there's no way they exist as big,
Orange Julius.
Disgusting pants.
We'll restart Orange Julius.
I think that's still going.
They still have Orange Julius?
Yeah, they're attached to Dairy Queens in certain places.
Oh.
Or they're incorporated into Dairy. You can go to Dairy Queen and get an Orange Julius.
Okay. Not up here, they're not. Well, we don't really have Dairy Queens up here either.
Yeah, those are the southern thing.
Yeah. We are getting a Chick-fil-A finally, though.
It's all right. I like Chick-fil-A. I don't want them to go away, but I don't eat it that often.
Yeah, everybody here is super excited. I know a lot of people, but that's how you get when,
It's new.
Yeah. That's how it was when Sonic first came here. Everybody lost their fucking minds.
It's just like that Jinko fat. Everybody's got to get some. And then after you get some, you're like, it's fine, I guess.
I don't even see how they're comfortable. How do you walk in them?
I mean, looking good is not about being comfortable.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I see kids in the middle of winter with no coat on all the time.
That was me, too.
I'm like, man, you're stupid, kid.
Yeah, but not when you're young. You're like, I fucking do what I want.
I get that.
I don't need a jacket because my fucking coolness keeps me warm.
Nothing can hurt me.
Yeah,
Live forever.
Now I'm like, should I wear my thin jacket or my thick jacket? Because the jacket's definitely happening.
Yeah. Always go with the thick jacket, by the way.
No, I get hot easy.
Well, that's probably for different reasons, but
insulated well. What I do is I keep the thin jacket in the car and I wear the thick jacket. I don't wear any jacket while I'm driving. I can't wear a jacket while I'm driving.
You can't? Oh, I can.
Mm-mm.
And
I get fucking uncomfortable.
I also happen to have the heat blasting as hot as it'll go
Hell
with
no.
my jacket on while I'm driving.
If I turn the heat up like that, I can almost make myself throw up if I get hot like that.
Oh, not me. I love
I
it.
overheat.
It's so cozy, warm.
Most of the time, my car does this thing where even when the air is all the way off, it still blows. Most people's is like on low.
Yeah,
'cause my car's an asshole. And so in the summer, I got that bitch full bore. But then when it starts to cool off in the fall, I want just, I don't need anything on. It feels great outside. But I either have to have heat going or cold going because the thing just won't shut off.
And can't you put it in the middle?
Yeah, but it's still blowing. Like my middle is hot.
Oh,
Like it doesn't really get cold unless you get towards the blue side, and then it goes all cold.
Can't you close the vents?
Yeah, but then it makes a little whistling noise. Because it's still
you-
blowing. It's still pushing too much air.
I get it. Can't you check the relay on your blower motor?
It's off. It just always runs. Like I asked whenever I first got the car, I'd take it back into Toyota and I asked them, and they're like, "It's just how it does." And they all do that. I'm like, this shit is out of control.
Yeah.
So usually I'll move it to the feet. I'll let it blow on the feet.
But yeah.
But it still blows pretty good. So in the winter, that's too much heat for me. So I have to be an asshole and have my air on to not have my heat on.
Yeah, it doesn't never happen to me.
Yeah, I get too hot though.
I do not. There's no such thing as too hot in my world.
I sometimes have to put the window down in the winter because I'm getting too hot.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make a lick of sense to me.
I don't like any heat in the car like that.
I do.
Can't get away from it.
I want to sweat my nuts off.
That's gross. That's so gross.
It's not gross. It's
So
toasty.
I told you all those stories so that I could tell you to buy Inpatient. Buy the Inpatient. It's good. If you've got VR, you should totally try it. If you're not into scary games, I get it. I played it in the middle of the day with the lights on, and it's still fucking creepy because everything's off when you're in the headset.
That's true.
So it does in the beginning have a very bad screen door effect, or at least it did for me in the very first scene. I did not experience that at any other point that I've played through. I'm not very far. I'm probably a third of the way through that game. So I still have a ways to go. But the very beginning is in a dark room, and you do feel the screen door. But it's good. So people lean forward when they're talking to you. I swear you could touch them. Like, it's really good.
You can't. They're not real.
It's really... Nope, your hands are strapped down, so you can't.
So you really can't.
So I play along with the game. Like, I'm sitting in a chair, so when my hands are strapped down, like, I don't try to pick them up.
Gotcha.
Just because I feel like that puts me more... The cool thing is when you wiggle your hands, it wiggles them when they're strapped down. Which is kind of how that would work. So.
That is how that would work, yes.
Yeah, I see... I know some people will move around and stuff. I try to follow whatever... Like in the game, when I get out of the bed or out of the chair and stand up, I stand up in real life. Because I try to follow what it has me doing.
Gotcha.
For more immersion.
Immersion, that's a good word. Nice.
Yeah. I might build a padded room to play in. I haven't decided yet. Just go full on.
Whatever floats your boat. Let's see. I finished the Frozen Wilds for Horizon Zero Dawn DLC.
Mm-hmm. How was
Finished that. Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
As always. It definitely fits in better as a mission before you finish the game than it does as something you've done after you've beaten the game.
Can you play it before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can play it before you finish the game. And it actually ties in better, I think, if you do. If you do that, play that first. So if that's something that's on your radar or something like that, then play that first. Play the DLC before you finish the game. I don't know if I spoke about it last week, but I finished the Telltale Batman series, the one that's free on PS Plus. Really, really good. I think that style fits the Batman universe and what he does perfectly. Utilizes the combat and the detective skills very well using the Telltale model. So if that's what you're into, no problem giving that a check. We talked about Paladins. We talked about Rocket League. I streamed... Oh, yes, we talked about streaming Hitman. Having me do it and then have Ryan do it. Now, I am a stealth guy. I don't mind stealth. When I play the Hitman games, I like to play them as stealthy as possible. However, this game is completely bad at letting you know when you're being stealthy and when you're not. So I died a lot. And now I'm in a situation... And I ended up quitting after about almost an hour. So I didn't even finish that first episode because I am super screwed in the situation I'm in right now because of something that happened earlier, and I have no way to rectify it. So it really doesn't... The tutorial is very basic. It doesn't really guide you very well on all the different things that you need to be aware of. You find it out through trial and error, and then go back and play again, and trial and error at the next thing. And I don't like games like that. Those kind of games aren't fun for me.
Right.
I don't like having to constantly die to figure out the right way to do something. Once or twice is one thing, but constantly gearing through it is ridiculous. For example, Ryan, I'll give you the best example of it I can think of because you already spoke about this. On the cruise ship boat, the cruise boat, the yacht.
Yeah.
I know exactly the part you're talking about. You're opening the door and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah, there's just two dudes like staring at me.
Yeah, from the kitchen, right?
I don't remember.
You were in, okay, well, I was in the kitchen and I have to kill a guy. And this is going to be spoilers, but it's a year old, so.
No, I believe that I was way before this. I didn't even make it to the point where I needed to kill somebody. I think what happened was I killed someone because I panicked and then decided to hide their body. Mm-hmm. And I opened a door and there were just two dudes like, what the fuck's happening? Because I've got a dead body by the collar.
Gotcha. Because it's a party on this yacht.
Right.
And I'm in the kitchen and I have to take his uniform so I can get somewhere else.
Yeah, I didn't even get that far.
So I look around and there's a fridge you can hide a body in. And there's a wrench you can use to throw at him. And and hit him in the head so you can knock him out. And then there's a door. So and I'm like, oh, I wonder. So I open the door and I look, and there's some party goers out there. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm in like a security uniform at this point to get on the yacht. Mm-hmm. But now I have to take it as part of the ship's crew. I have to get in that uniform. So I open the. I haven't done any of that yet. I'm just looking at my options. So I open the door and there's 2 party goers hanging out on the deck. I'm like, okay. I close that. I'm like, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the wrench at this guy, knock him out, take his clothes, and then put him in that freezer, and no one will see him. So I go over from the door. I got all the way to the other side of the room, grab the wrench, throw it, hit the guy in the head, knocks out. I go to pick him up. Or I get into his clothes, I go to pick him up and put him in the freezer. That same door that I was just at opens, and there's those 2 party guests coming in, and they go, oh, and alert everybody. Why is the party? They just saw a security guard. They looked at me when I opened the door. They saw it was a kitchen. They saw it was security. Why would they just walk in?
Because people are stupid.
That AI is ridiculous. That should not happen.
Yeah, I killed a body. I killed a person. Because I probably panicked. Or they saw me picking up a wrench or something. Like, you can't fucking take that. So I was like, the hell I can't. And I killed them. And then was like, just need somewhere to hide them. And I opened like a boiler room. Like the engine room. Of the ship. And as soon as I open it, there's 2 guys like, hey, Fred, that guy's got a body. And they're like, oh, they start screaming. And the alarm goes off. I have to kill both of them. And now I've got a pile of bodies. And I haven't even started the mission yet.
Right.
Because I can't stop killing people. So I didn't watch your playthrough. I played through the one time. I didn't watch your playthrough. We talked about it. I'm going to play through it now. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to compare the differences, but it doesn't sound like you had the time I thought you would have with it.
No, I didn't. It didn't. The AI is what the game wants you to do and the way it wants you to play. And the way you should play, technically, is contradictory to what the AI and the heads-up display tell you.
Right. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this. I don't even know that it's going to be in January. It's the 28th when we're recording this. We're up against the end of the month. But I will get my playthrough of Hitman up. But in the meantime, you have your playthrough. You have our playthrough of Paladins. You got some stuff to watch on youtube.com/Gamestitch. While you're over there, hit the subscribe button and then click that little notifications bell so you know every time we go live.
Yeah.
Ear time.
Let's
talk about some news. We're already deep up in this podcast.
We are balls deep into this thing.
So we started last week talking about Nintendo Labo. It was still fresh, though. Super fresh. Mm-hmm. Since then, some details have come out, and I just wanted to briefly go over a couple of these. So The Guardian, I guess, is where these details originated from. So apparently they have Lego-like instructions which appear on the Switch screen for when it comes to building. Obviously, they're cardboard you can punch out. The projects which you assemble, like those remote control cars or that little bug thing that falls over, that person that falls over, they say those take about 15 minutes, which are strange because they look like it would take nothing to make those.
Right.
What's more crazy is they say the piano takes close to 2 hours to build.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if, as these details start to come out, so I will say, and I'll check your gauge at the end of these details, it seems like people are now calming down about Labo and starting to ask questions. Mm-hmm. The people who were angry in the beginning, when I listen to them talk now or read what they're writing now, they're not nearly as angry as they were. Mm-hmm. Some of these details we're going to go over the reasons why. But the knee-jerk reaction seems to be cooling off a little bit, and people seem to be now wondering what this really is. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering how much value is added with the time it takes to maybe build some of these. So, the fishing rod and reel attached to a base, elastic bands give you the tension. So when you're reeling in, everything is made out of cardboard and string or elastic, which I think may just be rubber bands. I don't know. But everything's made out of that kind of stuff. The way the piano works, this is the one I was most interested in because I just didn't understand how it could work with what they were showing. It uses the infrared camera on the Joy-Con controller and reflective strips of tape that go on the back of each each key. And as it's pressed down, that camera actually can see that tape and know that it's moving.
And that determines what sound it needs to make.
Yeah, that is crazy. That it's doing these kind of things. The cardboard dials and switches actually modify the tone and effects of the sound when you're on the piano. And the principles behind each construction are explained by cartoon characters in the game. The switch shows a cross-section of each model that illustrates the Joy-Con camera can see how the things are working. The robot translates your punches and kicks into smashing buildings and virtual smashes, things like that. Nintendo plans to offer replacement cardboard kits and templates to players who break theirs. So maybe this might be the most interesting part. And I've read several places, it's not in these notes, I've read several places that the plans will be placed online totally free.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be able to at any point download the templates and make them out of whatever you want, but of course you won't have the software.
Right.
And the kits come with the accessories, I don't know what they call it, but to jazz them up. They come with glue, tape. You can reinforce them, decorate them, pins, googly eyes, all that stuff. None of that affects the actual functionality of it because it's using infrared.
So you get some customization out of it.
I can't wait to see what comes out of the maker scene for these things.
Right, there's going to be some very cool things.
They're going to get wild, yeah. So those are just a few details I wanted to go over because last week it was still very fresh and some of these things haven't come out yet and Nintendo hadn't had a chance to speak on it much. And then I also wanted to check your temperature on this after a week.
It's still overpriced. It's still not for me.
Is it still overpriced when you think about those build times?
Yeah, to me, yes, because I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I'm not into that building stuff. The only reason I would ever get this would be for something to do with my kids.
Right.
Well, I can tell you my kids would never have a 2-hour attention span to put together a piano.
Right. And I almost wonder if it's a project you could space out, like let's do a little more on it. I don't know, but I figure the piano at 2 hours, the house probably at an hour, the fishing pole probably at an hour, the dirt bike thing probably at an hour. There's going to be some time here.
Right. And the thing is, and that's my biggest problem, is that Nintendo has kind of, when they first announced this, they kind of geared this for kids, something you can do with your children. And now they're saying that with the build times, that kind of takes away from that. So I feel like that initial statement about kids and building was a little misleading. I'd say this is more geared towards the tween market, maybe. Even maybe an early teen market.
I mean, that's mostly what they're showing in the videos are some tweenies.
Yeah.
I just think I can see, even as a kid, the excitement of getting to play with it when you're building it might help them make it through the 2 hours, even as a kid. Like the excitement of knowing that when it's finished, I can play with it. Because I would have been that way.
Yeah, but it's a piano.
Or any of them. I mean, even if it takes an hour, like I would have been so excited, like, can't wait, let's finish it.
I still think those are... I still think those are a little long for build times as far as it goes for children. As far as the rest of them goes, I think it's fine. I think it's incredible. I mean, Lego kits take hours to put together.
Yeah, and kids do those.
Well, kids don't usually do those ones. That's more teens, adults.
As a kid, I built some big kits, and I know kids now that build pretty large kits.
No, I don't know any that build large kits now. Kits.
Now, most of them take time. They don't build it all in one sitting.
Oh, right.
But they'll do some with their parents and then come back to it.
But that, I think that anticipation of wanting to play with it with the Switch is going to want them to put together longer. It will put it together as quickly as possible and not let it sit, but not have the patience for it to get annoyed. But there's a whole, and it's going to be very few and far between. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate on that side. Amazing that they are going to be offering not so much replacement kits, because it's kind of crappy to have to buy cardboard again, but they're going to be offering the templates online. That's cool. That kind, to me, changes the face of what they were going to do. I feel like they should have led with that instead of waiting a week and a half.
Well, I don't know that they did. I think it was just really hard to get everything together, news-wise, in the beginning. Because I saw the story almost after we finished recording last week. I I just think there was so much reaction to the cardboard that you couldn't suss out anything online because everything you search for people going, it's cardboard.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember reading anything about it.
Yeah.
But that, again, I could have missed it. But I think that's huge. Again, I tempered in the 3 days between the announcement before, and I've tempered a little bit again. I still know it's not for me, but I can see what the draw is here for some people. Some other people I know.
It does feel like as these details have rolled out, like the tides are turning a little bit.
The key is going to be the quality of the cardboard. I think that's going to be the key to determining. I'm
on the totally opposite side. The cardboard will be fine. It'll be whatever it is. I think the key is the games. I already fear that you're going to spend more time building than playing.
Which is possible.
And so for me, the key is going to be how interactive are these, or am I going to enjoy putting them together more than playing with them?
Yeah, I mean, this could go one of two ways. This could go, Rob the Robot, or it could go Power Glove.
Right. Now, my initial reaction last week in that, hey, you could put one of these together each week with your kid and spend each week playing with them and then do a different one. For me, that's even more confirmed now when I'm looking at these build times. So the price to me is even more reasonable in that, not more reasonable, no one thought it was reasonable at first, but the price is less egregious, right, for that kit.
That kit,
I heard the build time on the backpack is 4 to 6 hours. I couldn't find that. I only found that one place, so I didn't talk about it here, but I read on one website that there was 4 to 6 hour build time on the backpack. So that's crazy if that's the case. That's almost too long.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's almost too long. But I feel even more like, it's less egregious when you think about the amount of time that you're going to spend with this. Just in building the kits, if you're going to have 10 hours of build time, like, how much time do you need to get out of the game then to feel like you got your money's worth? Yeah, it's different for every person. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like they're giving some time back by how long these take to build. But I do worry that the games are like, oh yeah, now on to the next thing.
And that's possible.
Yeah, it's a piano, that's awesome, but now I want to build a house. Okay, that house is cool, but now I want to build this. And maybe that's the point,
Yeah, we won't know. And obviously you won't be able to gauge any of that until it comes out. I mean, you can talk to people about it all you want, and they can tell you what they're going to do first, but that doesn't mean that's the case. You might be like, yeah, I want that piano. Then you're like, you know what, this backpack is fuck that piano. This backpack is amazing. Let me put this together.
The piano is the one that I keep thinking about. Like because I understand what the program is going to be, or I assume I do. When you're in there, it's just going to be that you can play piano,
right?
But that is kind of rad that I can build a working piano. Like I want to do that. Like that one excites me. And then of course I love fishing, but I'm afraid fishing will be like, cast it. Oh, you got one. Cast it. Oh, you got one. Cast it. Oh, you got one. And after like 5 times of that and me showing everybody I know, you're going to be like, all right, well, I'm good with that. Never need to do that again. But there's something about that piano that's fucking cool. And I can't wait to see YouTube videos of people playing full fucking blown songs on that cardboard ass piano. And doing some amazing things. Or the pianos that look like people spent hundreds of hours customizing. So, Labo. 420. Labo. Smoke them if you got them. That's when it comes out. April 20th. $70 Xbox for the variety kit. $80 for the backpack. Go ahead.
Xbox Game Pass will now feature first-party Xbox One exclusives at launch.
Day one. It comes out, you get it. Yep.
As soon as it comes out, it's on Games Pass. Games Pass is $10 a month, I believe.
Yeah, $10 a month. I don't think they actually have a yearly purchase. I think it is $10 a month.
I think it's just $10 a month, yes.
There's no time requirement, so it's not $10 a month and you have to stay for 6 months yet.
Yep.
And the games that they specifically spoke to were Sea of Thieves, the next Gears of War, or Crackdown, the next Gears of War, and I think the next Forza.
Mm-hmm.
Or some of the ones that they mentioned, of course. We're talking first-party exclusive, so we're not necessarily talking Cuphead. We're not necessarily talking PUBG. We're talking Microsoft exclusives, first party. Obviously, some of those other things are options. You could see Cuphead on here. That's not a thing yet. That's not a game they spoke of yet. But
yeah,
this to me, the biggest story of the week. Now I know we have had almost no conversation on this.
We have.
So I don't even know where you stand on this, but a brief outline of what Xbox Game Pass is. $10 a month. You don't stream games, you download them. So if you're someone who says, hey, I hate the way PlayStation Now is, or the buffering or quality or whatever, you're downloading these games. They are full games. It's not a few hours. It's not you can't play online. It's full games, full-blown games. Achievements, multiplayer, all that included. You do have to have gold if you're going to play online, just like normal. And they're yours to play as long as they're a part of the program and you continue to play $10 a month.
Yes.
There's 100-plus games on there, I believe.
Right now, yeah.
I think that's right, over 100 games. It is a mixture of things, and this announcement was that they were going to begin to add first-party games the day they come out.
Yeah, and my assumption on this, the way it was worded, is all first-party games will release day and date on here.
Correct.
To me, this is super cool for the consumer. It really is. I mean, there's no way around that. $10 a month, you can play all the new first-party games. The problem is there's been no first-party games for the last, 2 years from Xbox. So it's a little disingenuous to say, we'll do this for you, even though we don't have anything. They do have some stuff coming out, though.
That seems to be the dig. The dig is, oh, cool, I can play everything that's not out.
Right.
That's not coming out.
Right.
That seems to be the big dig with everybody. And I think that's why they spoke to a few titles that people might be excited about to say, hey, these are coming. It's slow. But before we get deeper into it, what I'll say is that you only need to play 2 of those to make it worth it.
Right.
They will have 2 first-party games come out this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You only need to play 2 of those at $60.
To get your $120 a year worth.
Correct. And everything else you play would then drive that price down.
Yes. A couple things. I think with this announcement of Games Pass, I almost feel like it helps explain the reason why you see such shitty games on Xbox for Xbox Live for games with gold. All the good games they want on Game Pass that you're going to pay $10 a month for rather than $60 a year for all these good games. So I think that's a trend you're going to continue to see, is maybe not some great games for your games with gold subscription. I think this is basically, in my mind, this is Microsoft basically saying, you know what? We have to make games because we have to put stuff out for our Xbox One system, but games is not a big thing to us, so we'll just go ahead and give them away. It's not viable for them to make money on this model, I don't think. The only way they would is if they released them digital only and no physical copies. And that's not to say that these are going to be shitty games. It's just Microsoft is willing to write off their games, Microsoft Studios division, and just say, you know what, that's going to be our tax break every year. Because there's no viable way for this to maintain, I think, to maintain a business model and bring, if they were relying, like most developers do, they rely on the money their game makes to bring in more money so that they can create more games and expand on their ideas. Doing this doesn't really allow that, I don't think, because this spreads $10 a month over however many games. So,
see, this is where you and I differ. I think this will bring in more money. The reason I think that is because at $10 a month, there's going to be a lot of people who... So the closest thing I could think, I see a lot of people saying, oh, it's like Netflix. I don't think it's like Netflix. I think it's more like the WWE network. when they came out and said for $10 a month you can have access to all of our $60 pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh, that's it, wrestling's done. And it's not. It's totally changed everything about the way that model works. And I think this will be similar in that people will sign up, whether they use it or not. They'll keep paying $10 a month because, in 6 months this is coming out, or in 2 more months this is coming out. So you're just going to let it roll instead of canceling it and signing back up. Because if it's like anything else at Microsoft, it's fucking impossible to cancel.
Right.
So people are going to sign up, forget it, let it roll. I almost watch nothing on Netflix, and I've had it for like 14 years.
See, I watch Netflix.
Right, but there are a shit ton of people who have Netflix and Hulu and HBO and all those things, and they don't pay for them. Or they pay for them. They don't watch them. So I think they're going to get a massive pop from people who sign up, whether they use it or not. The other thing is that they're going to allow themselves to make way more money on the back end. So Sea of Thieves was not going to sell super well. Mm-hmm. Sea of Thieves probably just quadrupled in the amount of Xboxes it will now be on.
Yes.
Those people need gold to play together. That's more money. The DLC will be ramped up, in my opinion. And everything that Microsoft makes, the DLC will now be out of control. They will support the shit out of all of these games. And because you already have the game and you didn't pay anything for it, and you now get a discount on the DLC, which they should be doing, you're going to start buying DLC for these games, and hopefully they'll support them a lot. So you're not making the money in the traditional way, but it allows Microsoft to take all the money, put it in one account, and then disperse it as needed for these games. But the longevity for games, you can see it with Ubisoft. The way they support games are keeping people playing. I think Microsoft has the ability to do that here because they're no longer worried about sales. Right. If they can get to a point where they can say 4 million people subscribe to Games Pass, every game they put out is going to have 4 million people playing it. And that's not what not all 4 million are going to play, but what I'm saying is the install base is already there.
Right.
Sea of Thieves, as soon as I read this, I was like, this is the best news ever for Sea of Thieves.
It is good news it is good news for some of for those type titles. Those weren't going to sell. It's
good for you. It's more people playing that game now, though.
Right.
Which means more support for that game down the road.
On those type of games now, as far as games like Gears or Halo.
But see, I'm not going to buy a Gears or a Halo, but will I play a free one with you because you want to and because it doesn't cost me anything? Probably.
Yeah.
Because it's that what I just said right there. It doesn't cost me anything. It does. It costs $10 a month, but the thought is
split, and that's a split down the middle though, because that's money they didn't get from you.
But they would have got nothing from me.
Right, but they got $10 from me instead of $60.
Right.
So that's a split you worry about on some of those. They're getting $10 from a bunch of people like you and lose it. That's probably, and that's why I'm saying that those numbers there, once you get into those type of games, are probably going to wash, which is why they're worried about, like you said, the back end stuff. They're not worried about the viability of their.
See, I don't buy 2 full price Xbox games a year, so like they're going to make more off of them.
But there are people that do. They're going to lose money on them.
Yeah, I don't. I bet there are more that don't. I mean, there's just not that many exclusives. So I really just think this is going to work. I think it's going to.
Oh, I don't think it's going to fail at all.
And I also think this is a huge deal. Like, I think this totally changes the climate of gaming and maybe what happens going forward. People always talk about what's going to take to get digital, like really rolling. This is it. Giving you the fucking games is what the answer is to how digital starts. Because I hate digital, and there was a real moment where I was like, should I just do Sea of Thieves digitally? Like, should I just do this Game Pass version of Sea of Thieves? Do I need to own this? Which I decided I do, but like, it was really tough. Like, there was a couple days where I was like, should I just not do this? I don't have to spend $60. I can pay for 6 months of Games Pass.
And here's the thing about Microsoft that I think so many people are missing. Back when they announced the release of the Xbox One, everybody lost their minds about everything that Microsoft wanted to implement. It was too much too soon. You've seen since launch, they've started implementing things. They're getting to exactly where they said they were going to be. And
so, and it's not,
and they're making you like it.
It's not a story we covered, but Phil Spencer moved up in Microsoft.
Yes.
he is now like a top dog, and someone else is now over first party Xbox. And I don't think anyone would deny Phil Spencer's love for video games.
No.
And now that he has more control, more power, more influence, I think some of the plans, like you were saying, that have always been there will start coming full pass because he now has that power.
Instead of at the beginning, when everybody lost their minds when they said, this is what we're going to do, then they walked all that back, which I gave them shit for. I still think that was dumb. Never apologized. Sign of weakness. But they're gradually, with this system, getting to exactly where they said they were going to be at the start.
I don't think this was part of the plan. I don't think giving away their games was part of the plan.
Well, no, but this is a step to that digital only.
Right, but I do think that this is so I think everyone can probably agree that Microsoft won't catch Sony when it comes to units sold for this generation.
Right.
There's probably not enough time left in this generation for that to happen. But sometimes when you're an underdog, you just have to throw up a Hail Mary. And sometimes when you're thinking about your next system, you have to lay a foundation that works now.
Right.
Because the things that people were scared about when they announced DRM was, I don't need to be connected all the time. What about the people that aren't? But then when they say we're giving away games, which totally requires you be connected to the internet to play, people are out there, toasting each other and handing out champagne.
Oh yeah, this is totally a setup for Xbox 2X or whatever they're coming out with.
I hope that's
coming out with
Xbox 2X, 2X1. But I just think this is a huge deal, and I almost wonder if this actually forces Sony to do something now. And I think so. To me, the pivot is that Sony would need to give you PlayStation Now as part of PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Now is not Games Pass. It does not work the same way. It's a streaming service.
I was just about to say, at this point, once this gets implemented, Microsoft is winning that battle. PS Now is irrelevant.
It is a streaming service. It has over 600 games versus 100, but most of those are
PS1, PS2.
Not PS4 games. So, to me, the move for if you're Sony is to say, that's cool. That's neat. That's neat that they're doing that. We're still going to sell these experiences because they're better than anything that they have. But we're going to give you Games Pass free as part of PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
$60 a year still, and you get 600 plus games that you can stream at any time. And we'll move games in and out.
What they can't do is say we're going to give you PS Now and bump the price up $10 of your.
I think they could say we have a PlayStation Plus that's more that includes it.
That could be an option.
Yeah, but I think bumping it up.
Don't just across the board do it.
Right.
Is no.
So for me, this is going to. It's going to take games that weren't going to be as popular and make them more popular on Xbox. I think that it's going to stir up excitement, which is already happening. But they've got to do two things. They've got to make games, and it has to be something that people want to play.
If they're not, then
it has to have some level of excitement. And this is only going to win if they're good games, if people want to play them.
Right.
Like if they make one exclusive this year, this program is dead on arrival.
Useless.
Yeah. It's access to nothing.
It's got to be games that people want. It's got to be, people have been looking for Crackdown. It's got to be, Crackdown has to come out. Another thing to keep in mind, and this can be good or bad depending on how you look at it, is for Microsoft anyway, this is going to mean that their timetables have got to be a lot closer. Because if they've only got 2 exclusives coming out in 2018 and have to push one back to 2019, Games Pass doesn't seem so cool anymore.
And the other angle of this, which no one's talking about, including Microsoft, so we don't know, is do they bring in other developers? Does EA say the next Mass Effect, whenever that is going to be free day and date? And again, I'm sure everyone's reaction will be, why would they do that? Well, again, it's player bases.
It's a player base.
It's DLC.
An installed player base.
Right. It's microtransactions. Anthem, which we're going to talk about here in a minute too, they want that to be Destiny. EA desperately wants that to be Destiny.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's a live model. We've talked about live gaming models. Those are sustainable even when you give them away because of the amount of longevity that people have on the back end, the amount of money people are willing to spend on expansions and skins and shaders and all that stuff. So can you give a game like that away? I don't know. But how much does Microsoft have to pay a company to do that? How much does that change your perception of what Game Pass is worth?
And that's the thing, is I think Microsoft has a lot more coals in the fire than EA does. I mean, EA does games. Microsoft's got a ton of stuff going on. They're in a position financially to, like I said, give those games away. I don't think they're concerned about that division as much. They're worried about what they're gaining in other spots by that. I don't know if that works for your EAs or your, any of your other publishers because they have a lot less coals in the fire and they rely a lot more on that financial gain.
I'll tell you what, if I was the indie developer and this was announced, I would be calling Microsoft and saying,
what can I make?
When is the next Gears of War coming out? And how do I get my game on Games Pass?
Yep.
Because when everyone subscribes to this so they can play that game, I want to be on that page too.
Yep.
And I want to sell DLC for my game, or I want people to play my game. I'll give it away if it means I can support it down the road and make money long term. And just look at Rocket League. Everyone, I know people think like, well, how can I make any money if I give my game away? Talk to Psyonix.
Yeah,
so Rocket League is a good game. I don't want to take anything away from it, but that PlayStation Plus move is single-handedly linked to the success of Rocket League. They put that game in people's hands. People played it and were like, "Oh, you made a fine product," and then they supported it like crazy.
Yep.
So that's a direct reference to how I think this works if you do it right. Only it's happening with a lot of games all at once instead of just a couple a month.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things on Xbox and PS4 that have come out free on the day they came out for games with Gold or PlayStation Plus. And those games have found success. Like, I think you can do it. So I think this is a turning point for video games in general, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I think this is almost an extension of what you saw with Hellblade. I think this is the next step. Hellblade was a wonderful experience that was slimmed down and scaled back for half the price. A lot of that is what you're going to be getting with this. But the thing is this is going to, if this is successful, it's going to take other publishers and developers to look at it. They're going to see that. And they're going to have to start making those streamlined experiences for willing to accept half the price. Because they're not going to be making the money that they're making on them. If it gets that far, they're going to notice if this is successful, and they're going to try to do something. Whether they do it on their own with their EA Access or their Ubisoft Club, or they partner up with Microsoft or PS4. But I think this is Hellblade started it, and this is a natural extension of that, is to where quality is going to matter. Quality over quantity for less the price is going to be what's most important and what makes you the most money. And I think you'll see that. I think this is a step that's going to help engage that a little more.
So you said something in there that I think is a great point that I wanted to bring up and actually forgot. The fear here for me is that this catches on, but it doesn't catch on how we're talking about it. It catches on in that EA changes the way EA Access works, and Ubisoft starts their own program, and Sony starts theirs. So you can get every game for free when it comes out as long as you subscribe to these 27 different services.
Right.
That is not what I'm looking for here.
It's got to be that streamlined experience.
Yeah, so it'll be just interesting to see, but I think this is something you cannot avoid if you're in the games industry right now. Like if you make games, if you publish games, if you sell games. I mean, I'm sure GameStop's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
These games are all
can't like this.
These games are all for sale at retail still. But just to recap one more time, Forza could come out, you could spend $10 and play it for 30 days and never need to touch it again.
Yep.
Why would you go spend $60 if you're only going to play it for a month? You can't even red box it for that cheap.
Right.
It's like $2 or $3 a night to red box a game. So this drastically changes the landscape of retail and rental and everything.
Yeah, I mean, these types of things have been a thing for a while now, but it's the fact that it's the day and date that changes the face of everything.
Right. And I misspoke a little bit earlier with the games. It's Crackdown they mention, it's Sea of Thieves they mention, and it's State of Decay 2 that they mention.
Yes, that's right.
They also spoke about Halo and Forza as they come out, but those are the ones slated for 2018, I believe. And the fuck if I know if you'll see Crackdown. State of Decay 2 will come out. The first one's a cool game. It'd be fun. It's not a system seller.
No.
Sea of Thieves is not a system seller as much as we're excited about it.
Well, and you're right. Neither of them are system sellers, but they might just be, for lack of a better term, program sellers.
And Crackdown, again, not a system seller.
No, but they might be enough to sell Games Pass.
I think one of the three of those alone are enough to get Game Pass. Any one of those. Crackdown, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, those are all enough, even on their own, to get Games Pass. But you tell me all three of them in a year, you can do a quick math check to know that that's worth it.
And that's the thing. Will I play State of Decay on the day it comes out at $60? Nope. Will I play State of Decay on the day it comes out for $10? There's a real good chance.
Mm-hmm. We're talking, that's $180 worth of games if you don't play anything else.
Especially if I already spent the $10.
But that's how they're going to get you, is you will have already spent it.
Right, so here you go.
Yeah. It's free.
Right. Just take it, bro. Take it.
I keep saying it that way because that's how my mind works.
Yeah, I know.
The free game. I mean, we do a whole segment every month about the free games on PlayStation Plus and the free games with gold. They're not free. You're paying for them.
But they're free because you've already paid for them.
Because you've already paid for them. Because you're going to pay for them either way.
Right.
And it's the same way with this. It's the same way. That's why I think the WWE model really, really fits what we're talking about here, because everyone thought they cut their throat when they took away their $60 pay-per-views. They still have them, but no one's paying for it because you could just get WWE Network.
That's right.
But it has totally flipped the script on that, and they're earning money. So much money that Vince McMahon announced this week that the XFL is coming back.
Yes.
In 2020. I could listen to that guy talk about paint drying. He's just passionate. He's in it.
He is. He's a businessman.
Yeah, he is a fucking.
He's passionate about whatever he's putting his hands.
He was on a set that looked like a fucking esports set.
I know. I saw it.
I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It's all like CG, and he's on like this podium in front of a green screen. It was out of control.
He always does his wrestling persona. Wherever he is, he's like the XFL.
I don't even know if it's a persona or if that's just who he is.
It might just be who he is. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, he did sound like he was about to blow a gasket when the whole time he was talking about that. Even when he's answering questions.
Yeah.
And I don't care where anyone comes down the XFL, but what a set of nuts on that guy.
To bring back something that failed?
Who tries to make a football league, and then who tries to make a football league twice?
The same football league twice.
Yeah. There's a really good 30 for 30 on the XFL. It didn't necessarily go away because it wasn't successful. It was a partnership, and those don't work out a lot. Yeah, a partnership between him and NBC. And I think if it was his decision alone, it would have stuck around.
Yeah.
But some of the things he joked about, the names, the rules, like, say what you want, people still remember them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people still remember he hated me, right? Like, it's a thing that people remember.
Yeah.
And who knows how this will work out. I mean, if your best player is Johnny Manziel, people probably aren't going to watch it. So, is it just going to be Johnny Manziel's and Tim Tebow's out there running around?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think the NFL right now struggles to fill up a roster with people that people care about.
Yeah.
And no matter how you feel about the NFL, it doesn't matter if the product itself isn't as good.
Exactly.
If it's second-rate football, it doesn't matter if the product itself is better. So, but he gave himself plenty of time. I don't even know why you announce it now.
Get people excited, man.
He also put $100 million of his own money in this. He pulled it out of WWE stock because he answers that question that the WWE can't afford to launch a football league.
Right.
But he can.
Yep.
Because he's old as hell and so fucking rich. And his throat sounds like it hurts so bad.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it hurts to talk. Yeah.
Hell.
Gosh. Anyways, Games Pass. This is going to be a change in the market.
Yep. Game changer. Mm-hmm. See what I did there?
I do. BioWare's Anthem.
We need to bust through these ones pretty quick.
Delayed.
We've been going for a while.
Well, I'm trying. You're slowing me down right now.
Oh, shot it. I should just go.
BioWare's Anthem delayed till next year. Shocker, they're wanting to add a little more live elements into this thing. They also spoke about the next Dragon Age. I don't know why. It's a weird thing to say we're delaying one. We got another one going. We're adding live elements to it too. BioWare not in a good place.
Unfortunately, I love BioWare. Mm-hmm. BioWare is probably my favorite developer of all time. I believe you're going to see Anthem probably be the last game they ever make. I don't know if that's BioWare's choices or EA's choices, but they're in a bad place, and they are not making decisions to put themselves in a good place.
Yeah, he is. So, Mark Dara, who is a Dragon Age executive producer, will also serve the same role on Anthem. He announced on Twitter he is now serving as executive producer on both Dragon Age and Anthem, with John Warner as the game's director on Anthem. So, there's a lot of coals in the fire. They did say that most of the team at BioWare is working on Anthem. That is where their priority is. People are excited about this game, but it's also a 30-second trailer that showed you almost fucking nothing. Mm-hmm. That people are excited about. And I think BioWare deserves another chance, but there's probably a lot of pressure.
They can't blow it. They have no room for mistakes.
It's probably it, yeah, if it's not great.
And the way they might surprise us, but I don't...
Not even if it's not great. If it's not successful financially.
Yeah, it could be a great game and not make money. It's happened time and time again. Yeah, it needs to make money, whether it doesn't even need to be a good game. I know that sucks to say.
It just needs to be successful.
But just needs to make a ton of money. It doesn't even have to be a good game.
Mm-hmm. God of War got a new trailer and a release date. Also coming out on 4/20, going head-to-head with Nintendo Labo.
Everybody going to be... 4/20 going to be a hell of a day for Blazing.
Battle for the gods that day. Kratos versus Cardboard. And we'll see who comes out. I'll say, if you weren't already excited about this trailer, or this game, this trailer should get you excited.
Every time I watch something more about this game or read something more about this game, I get more and more excited for it.
And I can't congratulate, I don't know if that's the right word, for taking a character that absolutely no one fucking cared about and giving him a soul somehow.
Yes.
Kratos is the most one-dimensional character ever in video games. And somehow they managed to give that guy a heart and feelings and it not be misplaced.
Yeah, somehow Kratos has been in, 4 games, I want to say.
All the PSPs and the Vita. The dude's everywhere.
And for some reason, his character arc is not starting until the God of War reboot.
Right.
There is no arc starting until then, because he's always been just this rage-filled, kill the gods.
Zeus!
Bastard.
He's always been that all the time. You're like, why are you Ares? Why are you screaming?
And for some reason, through all of that, it seems that now he is going to take the lessons that he learned and trying to implement them onto his son to raise his son right, so he doesn't lead the life that he did, which is what a good father should do. Mm-hmm. But obviously, the son, being half of Kratos, also is going to have his own rage issues. So it's really, really cool. I'm excited for this game because of what they're doing with the changes they're making. This is a true reboot. It looks like the story's going to work differently. It's going to play differently. The idea behind it is different. I'm excited for this.
So 4/20, it's coming out, and they also announced the collector's edition. And I'll tell you, so the collector's edition,
it looks good. I know
it does. It comes with a 9-inch Kratos statue, by Gentle John, a steelbook. Exclusive lithograph, a cloth map, which I'm a sucker for. I'll tell you what's really got me going are those two little dude carvings.
Oh, the little Kratos and the sun carvings?
They look like those are brother carvings.
Oh, Holdra brothers.
Yeah. They look like minifigures, Lego minifigures, but they're carved out of like wood. And for some reason, I'm like, those are gangster. You could put those on in a box, in 100 years, someone will find them and be like, what are these? Unlike that statue where you're like, it looks like a video game statue. It's cool. But those two little carvings, I'm like, those are badass. I kind of want this. Kind of want that collector's edition.
Go for it.
It's expensive.
It is expensive.
$150 if you want that. There's also a digital deluxe edition, which will go for $70. Two more stories. Fortnite shutting down Paragon.
Yep. Or Fortnite Studios.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know why I said that. Epic is shutting
me
down
either.
Paragon.
Epic Games is shutting down.
This is a fucking clickbait article that I pulled. This clickbaity ass title. It has nothing to do with Fortnite. What I meant was Epic is shutting down Paragon.
Epic is shutting down Paragon because of the success of Fortnite. They have to concentrate on that.
April 26th is your last day to play that. And they will refund anyone who has spent money on Paragon, which is insane.
Yes.
To try to make this right, Epic is offering a full refund to every player for every purchase on any platform. The refund will come directly from Epic rather than from your platform provider. The platform for requesting a refund is outlined on a form that you can find by searching Paragon Refund on the Googs.
Yeah.
Crazy talk. Also, I wish I would have got Paragon way back when and dropped the fucking $150 pack and been playing my heart out this whole time.
Because you could use $150.
Get my monies back.
Yeah. The NPD 2017. NPD's 10 best-selling games of 2017.
All of last year. We're talking all of last year from January till December.
Digital sales and PC digital sales are not included in these. We're not included in these numbers.
Some of these.
In some of them, I'm sorry. That's correct. Call of Duty World War II was number 1. That was all sales.
You went anticlimactic on how you discovered these.
I did.
You just gave the number 1 selling game for all of last year first, and now no one cares about 10.
I did. Because that shouldn't be number 1.
Well, so I guess more impressive than that, it was number 1 and came out in November.
Yeah.
So that was the best selling game of all of last year coming out in Q4.
So anyway, now I'll do it this way. Number 10 is Mario Kart 8. Number 9 is Super Mario Odyssey. 8 was Star Wars Battlefront 2. 7 was Ghost Recon Wildlands. 6 was GTA 5. 5 was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. 4 was Madden 18. 3 was Destiny 2. Number 2 was NBA 2K18. As I've already stated, number 1 was Call of Duty World War II.
There's some surprises on this list for me. First off, that Grand Theft Auto and Wildlands are even on the list is a surprise to me.
Yeah. I think it's very cool that, although completely understandable, is that Zelda, Odyssey, and Mario Kart are Switch-only games, and they made top 10.
I'm surprised that Odyssey's not higher. I'm surprised that Zelda's not a little bit higher, but when you look at what's above Zelda, you're like, I guess that makes sense.
They were available on more platforms.
But I really thought Odyssey would be up there right around where Zelda's at, and Mario Kart, I think, is a perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Those are the only things that stand out to me. That the top of that list, and I want to say this and try not to offend anybody, but I'm going to offend everyone. The top of that list is disappointing to me.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why, because December's best-selling game for the last 7 years has been Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I just think as people who play games, we should demand more than them shitting out a game every year. But I do want to say that World War II is apparently really, really good. I mean, I hear that from everybody that it's really, really good. So
yep, I've heard it's really, really good.
It's probably not fair to say that they're shitting out a game each year, but I just think we should demand more from our top 4 list than Call of Duty, NBA, Destiny 2, and Madden, because that's what it is every fucking year.
Yep.
So I don't know. Congrats to you. NBA 2K is a fucking beast.
It always is.
Yeah, that thing is crazy. Madden the same way. They can shit one out every year and everybody lines up to buy it. You know, Destiny 2's, I guess they're doing something different there, so I don't hate that. And fucking Grand Theft Auto 5 years later still making the top 10 list for sales.
Still rolling, man. Still rolling.
Crazy. That's the news. Now it's time for Gone But Not Forgotten, where we reach back in our gaming past. We dust off an old game. Sometimes we do it twice in a row. Sometimes we don't. This week is Dan's turn.
This week we don't.
It's not win back, folks.
It's not win back. I'm going to talk about a game on a system that almost no one owned. In 1995, Electronic Arts released Mercenary for the 3DO. Mercenary, 3D first-person role-playing game. Its plot is a complete and utter mindfuck. Essentially, they wanted to create something that was going to stand out on a 3DO. Arguably, the 3DO was a better system than the PS1 at the time, without this good marketing and costing a hell of a lot more. A lot of people think that it was before its time. But a Mercenary was created, like I said, first-person shooter, 3D. Basically, it's kind of a cyberpunk thing. You basically are jacked into a virtual reality where you then have to use your psi feedback to collect rhythms from other players. You start out at level 225, which is the lowest level. You have to beat Perfect One, who basically is like a virus who has taken over this cyber world. And you have to beat bosses and soak up their, basically, life force, which was called a rhythm. So you have to soak up their rhythms to gain, you know, with slight RPG elements to make you stronger so that you can take on the final boss, so you can save everybody. Because what happens is when you die in the cyber world, you die in real life. In the fiction, anyway. Super confusing cyberpunk plot, but really, really refreshing for what it was at the time. It kind of took the first-person shooter idea, which was relatively new at the time in 1995, and kind of moved it around and twisted it. It was actually a really good game, believe it or not, especially if you enjoy first-person shooters. It rated extremely well. Unfortunately, it got stuck on the 3DO and was basically lost to oblivion. So if you're curious about it, it's Mercenary, which is mercenary with an IM in front of it. Check it out on YouTube, wherever, but that's this week's Gone But Not Forgotten.
This game, I don't remember this game at all, but I will say looking at the screenshot, looks like hot garbage.
It's not hot garbage.
Like
at the time, it was pretty good. It was 1995, bro.
I mean, yeah, but... It
was almost 25 years ago.
So early 3D doesn't hold up like the way that sprites do and some of your older stuff. Early 3D is rough.
3D does not. Yes, it is.
And this is on the rough scale. Like an 8.
It's all on the rough scale.
I don't remember this game at all. I had a 3DO, but I had a 3DO late. I still have a 3DO. But
you had it late.
Yeah, but that game does not look like a thing I want to be a part of.
Okay. Well, you don't like first-person shooters, of course not. You don't like Cyberpunk.
It's got some fucking silver dude on the front.
Yes.
And he's facing
on the case?
The camera, but for some reason there's a target on someone behind him.
Yes.
Because he's an ass blaster, I guess. I don't know how he's shooting behind him. There's just a lot going on, that's all.
There's a lot going on. That's a Mercenary. That's a Mercenary for the 3DO, released 1995 by EA.
Right. So long ago that they were Electronic Arts still.
Yeah, they were still Electronic
That's how
Arts,
old that shit is. You know, this is not a news story. They're bringing back a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. Some of the guys that worked at Bullfrog back in the day are rebooting that, and I can't fucking wait.
I bet you can't. That's right up your alley.
Full-blown simulation.
Uh-huh.
That'll do it for the news.
And the Gone But Not Forgotten.
I just had a stroke. That already did it for the news. That'll do it for Gone But Not Forgotten. Now it's time for shout-outs. Remember, if you want to shout out, all you have to do is head over to patreon.com/Gamestitch and support us at the $10 tier, and you have the ability to give a shout-out every single week, or basically make a statement, or whatever you want to do. This is your time. And if you don't give us one, we'll give one to you. But this week, that's not the case. Before we get into shout-outs, I want to do a shout-out.
Okay.
Long-time listener of the show and friend to us, Garrett Wade. He wanted a SNES Classic. I had a plan to get one for Christmas. Things didn't work out quite that way. So he reached out and wanted to know if we saw one, if we would get it for him. And I just want to give a shout out to Hoff and Show. Gerald, who's a part of all this with us. He was able to find one and get it for Garrett. And that's what this is all about. Helping people play games. Putting games in people's hands, and it's just a cool time for everybody to come together and find something. So, shout out to him for making that happen. He doesn't support us at the $10 tier over on Patreon, but I felt like he deserved one.
Who's that? Oh, Hoffen Show. Yeah.
So let's do the normal show.
Did you get on that Hoffen Show?
Yeah, Hoffen Show.
Instead of spending all that money on, oh wait, you play Star Trek Online. Never mind.
He loves the Star Trek Online. Loves it. He has a Switch now, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He does.
Still 0 games for it.
Still no games. Not a single game. How's he playing? Is there free stuff on it?
Playing demos and borrowing games from somebody else.
He's
got a Games Pass going for a Switch.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the real shout-outs. The first one from Garrett. You want to do this one?
Sure. This is a long one. It's also combined with a Ask GSP, or a GSPQ. He says, so, the past 2 NFL seasons, my wife and I bet on every game every week, all the way to the Super Bowl. We have a system so we can each go for the same team, but there can only be one winner. I'm not going to explain how that works, even though he does. Anyway, so he tells us all that because there's 3 things they can win. First is a physical trophy for whoever has the most total wins. Second is the winner of the regular season chooses what they do for date night. And third winner of postseason chooses what the loser of post makes for the date night. So, 3 separate contests, all involving football. Gary goes on to say, I won the total wins in regular season and she won postseason. So I told her she has to play whatever video game I want for her, however long I tell her. He said he's going to be nice and choose Bloodborne. I don't know if that qualifies as nice. But she only has to play it for an hour or until she beats the first boss. So she's going to be playing it for like 3 days, apparently. So he says probably an hour. I don't know. Her proficiency with video games is out of my realm of expertise. He says probably only an hour. He also adds an LOL after that, so I don't know if he's joking or not. So that's his shout out, and this all leads to a question that he has. If you had an amazing wife like mine who genuinely wants to play games so she can enjoy your passion, what game/games would you have her try? You want to take this?
Yeah, so a couple things here. The main point of this shout-out is he has a kick-ass wife. It's clear from start to finish of this. And we also know that to be true.
Yes.
And it's great that she not only does the things that you do, but she enjoys them also. That's rare that can happen. Here's, though, I'm probably going to give a different answer than a lot of people will give you, because I'm going to say not things that you can play together. I think playing together will always be fun, and that's something you can always do. But I think just as simple as seeing you play something and her thinking, I want to try that, or just having her go pick something out. Like, I don't think there's a wrong answer to what she should play. She should play the things that she enjoys.
Right.
And find the genre that she likes, or the.
But I think what he's saying is base it on your own experience, not on.
Yeah, but the games I play, no one's going to want to play.
I understand.
So I already break the mold when it comes to that. But things like Until Dawn, I think are very simple to pick up and play. For someone who doesn't want to dedicate 50 hours a week to playing games. I mean, having somebody play something like Fallout, kind of unreasonable unless they can dedicate the same amount of time that you can towards playing something. But some of those games that are quicker, I think, are even the way I like to play nowadays. I like to play things that are quicker. I live for those fucking 3-hour experiences because I can actually get through them. So find the things that somebody loves and go from there. Now, I also want to say something else. I bought Bloodborne like 2 years ago. It's still wrapped. I would be willing, now don't let this throw off the bet, I would be willing to play the hour with her in Bloodborne. Because I think we can partner up in that game. I think it allows you to do that. I would be willing to do that, and if they were willing, and she was willing, I would be willing to stream that out for the channel. So I would play 1 hour of Bloodborne having never touched it.
I would not play it, but I would be in the chat and I would commentate.
I think maybe I played it for like 15 minutes, but
I would give the color commentary on that.
I feel like I played Bloodborne, but I think mine's still sealed, so I'm not sure how I played it.
Me either.
Maybe I just watched someone play it, and now I think that I've played it.
Could be.
The important thing is...
I feel like he's told me you played it.
Yeah, maybe I played it. But I just organized my games the other night, and my Bloodborne is sealed, so I don't know what happened.
I remember you saying something about a bridge, maybe?
I died a lot if I played
Or a
it.
campfire? Something, I don't know.
I think I got stuck in like this afterworld and could never get back. That seems to bring up memories, but I'm positive that mine's still sealed, so I don't understand.
Not me either. I feel like you talked about playing
Maybe I share played it. Anyways,
maybe.
If she's going to play this solo the way you intended, you guys should definitely make sure that you record it.
Yes.
Because I think it will be fun for all of us to enjoy. I think Minecraft's a great game. You can play it as much or as little as you want. A lot of the games that I enjoy, other people want. But I think anything story-driven, the Uncharted series, if you haven't played it, amazing. Horizon was incredible. The new God of War looks great. Sea of Thieves will be a great time. Just fun games. Everything on the Switch that's first party, those are the things I think anyone should play. Games that are fun.
See, I'm going to take a more. I guess essentially, I'm not gonna pull a politician on your answer. Ryan kind of danced around it with, just games that are fun. Specific to my wife, tailored to what she enjoys. She's not a gamer. She is not really super interested in games. She was as when she was younger. She played some Nintendo, Super Nintendo. But for her specifically, if I was going to try to reintroduce her to gaming, I would choose Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now, reason being, it's all point and click with a story that's going to speak to her. It's going to have some emotional resonance with her. And it's very easy to pick up and determine what you need to do. You do have some decision making in it, and it's only 3 episodes. So it's not overwhelming. It's about 6 hours of gameplay, unless you burn right through it. But I think that it would speak to her, and she would be interested in more games like that. And that was if she was like, you know what, do you have something I can play to see if I like it? It's not something I'm going to say, here, play this and see if you like it, because she has no interest in even going that far. But if she did, it would be Life is Strange Before the Storm.
I think there's a big difference in doing something to be involved and doing something because you're actually passionate about that thing also. Mm-hmm. And I do think that would influence the kind of games that you would share with someone depending on where they fell on that. But yeah, if I had to pick one game for somebody to play that doesn't play a lot or is getting into it or just wants something to play, I don't care if you've been playing for 40 years if you haven't played it. I think something like Until Dawn is perfect. Because it's the kind of thing that you're just making decisions. I think a lot of the Telltale games work for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is, and Life is Strange works similar to the Telltale game. So,
remember
but that was, I tailored that to my wife specifically.
Yeah, I just think,
as opposed to someone who hasn't played games.
Well, I mean, I think you can,
because it'll depend on the person,
right? But the games I play, I mean, it's just not applicable for me to answer it that way. because the shit that I play,
no one's
nobody
gonna
wants to
like
play.
what you
right.
play.
So,
Right.
And I try to push those games on everybody. So if people that don't play, people that play, I was telling somebody that doesn't own a single console about Farming Simulator the other day, and their fucking eyes were glazed over, and I told them about every fucking detail, because that's what I do for this world. So
that's what you bring to
yeah,
it. Got it.
Yeah. So remember, if you have questions for us, hashtag AskGSP, just like he did, and you can roll it all into a shout out, just like he did. Also, again, just to wrap up that, he has a kick-ass wife.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Sonya Blade.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Thomas's shout out is a little shorter.
It is.
His shout out is screw electric co-ops, which makes a lot more sense when you understand that Thomas is a first-time homeowner trying to get in his home.
Yes.
And things are not silky smooth.
They're not proceeding as smoothly as one
with the process. Everything on their end has been fine.
Yes,
but
it's
like in most things, when you rely on other people, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, especially those corporations / companies that are instrumental to you living your life, because they know that you need them, so they don't give a fuck.
They don't have to.
No, because you're gonna wait because you need them.
So hopefully. Thomas will be in his house soon. Hopefully he will get electricity, and hopefully he will get internet.
Yeah.
Both important.
Yeah.
You can follow us on the social medias. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. Together we are at Game_Stitch. Remember, youtube.com/Gamestitch. Hit that notifications bell after you subscribe, because we be streaming.
We do?
And we be streaming with no schedule.
We do, and we did. And that is how it works. We just go, boom, we're on, bitches.
Future streams. So I want to stream the Inpatient. I'm not going to stream the Inpatient because it will ruin it.
That's fair.
And I know people are like, well, I don't have VR, so I'm not going to play it. Well, I'm gonna hold my breath in the chance that you might get VR and not ruin this for you. So I'm still going to do Kerbal, and I'm going to do Hitman. That's what's on the books for me for sure. I don't know when anything will happen, though.
I don't know what I have on the books. I got to take a look.
You'll probably get both of those I just listed in February from me. So,
I probably won't get anything until February as well.
Right. I should find some. I want to find a lovey game to do for Valentine's.
A lovey game.
A lovey game. I'll have to poke around and see what I have.
I have one.
You have one for Valentine's?
I have one, and for that I think I can do for Valentine's.
I want to do some Valentine's coverage around here.
Should I save it a surprise?
Yeah, no, save it a surprise. Unless it's Life of Black Tiger.
It's not. That is. There's no love. There's no Valentine's Day love for the Life of Black Tiger.
But we talked about passion and romance. People love it, so maybe we'll just bring that into this.
Some romance.
Yeah. A little light choking.
Probably no light choking.
You know what I'm talking about? 50 Shades.
Yeah, that's not even a thing.
50 Shades is what I'm talking about. No, it's full-blown choking.
Yes, that's how BDSM really works.
Right.
Not like, ooh, let me put my hand lightly on your throat.
It's like, see you in 25 minutes.
So you wheeze.
Right.
Like if you don't get the part of it's the visual. You know.
Yeah, I'm not wired for it, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm not wired for it either. Just as what I've seen / heard.
With Games Pass heating up and some stuff coming out, Sea of Thieves, things like that. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv /Gamestitch, because that's where we stream all of the Xbox stuff.
Yeah.
Finally, thanks to everybody who listens. Thanks for this almost 2-hour podcast.
Ooh, we went long today.
Yeah, sometimes you like it to last, and you're welcome. Because this one did.
I never like it to last.
This was a marathon, not a sprint this week.
I'm always just ready for a nap.
I mean, you can... Sometimes I like to put a good podcast on and fall asleep to it.
It's like, you know what? It's just time to fall asleep.
And this one's long enough that you could probably do that.
Not me. I like to listen to the podcast and fall asleep after.
I mean, that's my goal, but I don't make it.
Gotcha.
Somewhere about 25 minutes in, I fail. And I wake up and the podcast is over and something else is playing. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I have to go back and find my spot.
That's fair. Yeah, that could be bad.
This has been episode 263 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Good night.
Good night.